Connected Services to begin the recording now. Prynawn da pawb, croeso cyfarfod. Welcome everybody to the Merthyr Tudful Company Borough Council Sustainable Merthyr Tudful Scrutiny on Tuesday, the 20th of January 2026. This recording will be broadcast by the authority's website and may be used for training purposes by Democratic Services Department. All attendees will be in view of the camera, and by attending, your consent is being filmed, and to the possible use of those images and sound recordings being used as outlined above. Item 1, any apologies for absence?
No.
We haven't had any. Item 2, declaration of interest. Members are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any personal and prejudicial interest in respect of matters contained in this agenda in accordance with the provisions of the Local Government Finance Act 1992 related to council tax, the Local Government Act 2000, the Council's Constitution, and the Members' Code of Conduct. And there is a note there, A and B. Any declaration of interest? No one's indicated. Then go on to item 3. That's the minutes of the meeting on Tuesday, the 18th of November 2025 of the Sustainable School Committee to approve and enter into the record the draft minutes of the previous meetings, which is on page 5 to 7. Could I ask member of the school committee to approve the minutes as correct?
I move, Chair.
Second, Chair.
Seconded. Right, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour of the minutes, please show either by virtual hand or real hand. It's carried. That's carried. Thank you. Next item is 4, the action logs to receive any updates on actions from the previous meeting or meetings. That's 9 to 16. Just to update you, I think we've got one item scheduled for the February meeting. On the April meeting, we've got decarbonisation and the multi-location report. That, I believe, is the items we've got at the moment. Okay. Any questions from anyone on the actions? No. I must say at this stage, Neil Howells is not with us. Unfortunately, a member of his family is in hospital, and we got Jane Jones here. Right. Next item is item 5. And that's yes.
Is my hand showing us up there? Ask a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, I can just about see it from here. Yeah, go on. Sorry, Gary.
Sorry, Chair. On the action tracker, on page 10 of the report, top of the page there, there's an action there about adding the corporate risk to the agenda, and the actions as recorded, chairs have considered and agreed for them to be included on the agenda. But in terms of the report template, this is still being worked on, and options will be brought forward in the autumn. We passed the autumn now, Chairs, when there's any update on that template, so we can start bringing them to the committee.
Is Sarah there online?
Yes, Chair. So thanks for the question, Gary. We did have a conversation about this at the chairs and vice chairs meeting. So we are still considering that because there wasn't a collective agreement whether or not we should have corporate risk on each agenda. But we've got another meeting of that later this week, I think, or next week.
Yes.
So we'll bring that. We'll take that back to that meeting, Gary, and bring a definitive answer in terms of whether we are going to include it or not to the next committee for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Isn't it this week, Sarah?
Yes, I think it is, Chair.
This Wednesday. Yeah. Okay, so we'll still be discussing that, Larry. Okay.
Fine, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Now we go to the reports, and that's item 5. That's the draft revenue budget 26-27. It is 17 to 40. Anna?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to present an update on the draft revenue budget for 26-27, which will reflect both progress and ongoing challenges in achieving financial sustainability for Merthyr Tudful. Firstly, by way of update, the funding position has improved significantly, with a revised Welsh Government settlement providing a 4.7% increase compared to last year, which is a welcome improvement from the original 3.1% provisional increase. Just to note regarding the report in section 1.1, the Wales average increase is listed as 3.1, but should be 2.7, reflecting the Wales average at the time of provisional budget publication. Further to that, despite the positive settlement, we do face unavoidable cost pressures and additional demands total nearly 3.96 million and are detailed in Appendix 4, including education pressures, such as additional learning needs and transport, waste and recycling obligations and capital financing costs. Thirdly, we have identified cost reductions of circa 3.58 million to offset these pressures, and these are detailed in Appendix 5, which include grant maximisation in social services, operational efficiencies across education and neighbourhood services, and while these measures protect frontline services, reliance on temporary solutions continue to underline the need for transformation. As a result, the projected budget deficit for 26-27 has been reduced to 9.005 million to 509,000. And this is based on a medium-term financial plan forecast for council tax, which assumes a 5% increase, with every 1% change impacting the budget by approximately £330,000. This report also provides details of the budget consultation work, which sought residents' views on their priority services and on council tax. And the current position demonstrates strong progress while acknowledging ongoing financial pressures. Our priority remains protecting central services, supporting education and safeguarding the most vulnerable. The final Welsh Government budget was published today, and although there are some changes, none significantly alter this update and our current direction of travel. Each committee will now have the opportunity to review a version of this report, in addition to a joint scrutiny and governance and audit session before a special budget meeting on the 23rd of February. As such, Chair, welcome any input from the committee, which will be considered to work towards setting a balanced budget for 26-27.
Ioannwr, Craig, do you want to add anything to it?
Nothing material to add from Anna's update. The content of the report is self-explanatory. As Anna said, the publication of the draft budget was made today. It's in line with the budget set of proposals we've got in front of us today, and we'll have further detail by the 27th of January.
Okay, thanks. Right. Any questions from any members? Larry?
Yes, Chair. Paragraph 510 on page 21 about the assumed increase, pay increase for next year is 2.5%. And then in the report it says that any pay award above that will have to be funded in year through any service underspends and or a call on reserves. Just information, Chair, out of interest. What is the value for every 1% or less above the assumed increase of 2.5%? So if it's 3.5%, what is that extra value that the council would have to find within service areas or from the reserves?
Yes, great.
Thank you, Gary. Yeah, for every 1% increase, it's circa £750,000 cost pressure. And that's a 1% increase on teachers as well from September of the financial year. So it's a part-year effect. Teachers.
Thank you, Chair. 750. Thank you. That's what I wanted.
Right. Any other questions, Gary?
No, Chair. No.
Right. Okay. Any further questions from anyone? Having a bit of time because we're talking about a pretty important report. Presume everybody's read it. Councillor Barry.
Yes, thank you, Chair. It's just where it mentions no use of reserves. We'll be using earmarked reserves, presumably, Craig. So it just needs to be a little clearer that we won't be using general or budget reserve. I think it just needs a little bit of clarity there.
Within the cost reduction appendice that you've been presented with, there are a number of earmark reserves that will be drawn down by service areas to offset the pressures that they are reporting. I think as the report presents, there is still a funding gap that we face of £509,000. So service managers and corporate management team in collaboration with the Cabinet will come forward now with a balanced budget, and that will then present the final consideration for full council. But at this stage, in order to secure the financial sustainability of the organisation going forward, the strategy is to move away from using the budget reserve to set balanced budget. And that is obviously the strategy that we're looking to take forward.
Yeah, I accept that. It's a very sensible approach. What I'm saying is, where you say in the report no use of reserves, you just need to qualify it by distinguishing between what you mean by no use of reserves, because we are using reserves and they are the earmarked reserves. So it's just for clarity, because bear in mind it's a public document and we just need to be as clear as we can.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions?
Yeah, just one other one, Chair, if I can. In the section 1, it mentions Plaid Cymru. I've never seen a political party mentioned in the revenue budget or any of the budget documents. It's supposed to be non-political. I'm a bit perplexed as to why all of a sudden we got Plaid Cymru's name in there, being that they're a constituent part of the Welsh Government.
We know, Craig.
That was the agreement that was, that was publicised in regards to the revised agreement in moving the budget forward. But I can take on board that, and that will be removed from any future report. Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Craig.
Right. Got one or two questions. So on page 19 under 4.5, says there halfway down, there are, however, a number of gaps where details of funding levels are awaited. So this is an area that would need to be revisited once further information is available. And he goes on to say, one such grant to highlight is the Sustainable Waste Management Grant, which is shown as to be confirmed for 26-27. So, for clarification for me, there is a vote in Welsh Parliament on the 27th. That's right, isn't it? So when will they be making an announcement about this Sustainable Waste Management Grant? Is it then, or is it likely to be later?
I can't commit to being in it as of the 27th of January. We would obviously hope for that information to be clarified as soon as possible. As it says in the report, that particular grant funding is 16.4 million, so it's not insignificant in the round. But we would hope to have that information covered pre the start of the financial year and around the 27th of January when this is published. With publication of that information, on the 27th of January. Within the Welsh Government website, you will see detailed information around local authority funding and the relevant grant funding. So that'll be a public document. I say hopefully that will be confirmed around that time.
Right. And can I take you to page 20? That's 5.4. It says it remains the ambition of the Welsh Government to enable a more ambitious final budget to be presented in January. So that, again, would be the 27th of January when they are carrying out the vote. And there was around 380 million of unallocated funding. This is 231 million in resource, 136 million general capital, and 30 million in financial transactions capital. So, I presume via the Welsh Local Government Association, are we anyone anticipating anything else on the 27th of February in view of the statement they've got there that there's 380 million of unallocated funding, or is that remaining in their coffers for the next financial year?
That was the position when the provisional local government settlement was announced on the 24th of November. Following the agreement that was reached after that, the funding of the majority of that funding was allocated then, as it is shown in 5.5 of the report.
Yeah. All I'm asking is there any likelihood that there may be some more money which they will allocate towards local government in one way or another that we can't anticipate at the moment?
So from the content of what we've received today, and what has been published, that hasn't moved significantly, but has moved from what we have been using in our funding assumptions going forward based on the position in December.
But I think you're looking at, there is detail there and there's tables there. So that's been looked at, I presume, by staff and yourself and the finance departments to look at everything then to see if, because sometimes it's in the detail that you've got to work it out from, can't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chair, can I come in?
Yes, certainly.
I think this somewhat perhaps relates to the point that Councillor Barry has made as well, is what this report does is really seek to give a comprehensive update on progress at Welsh Government level and obviously internally and within the local authority since that provisional settlement was announced and since we last reported our own gap for 2026. And this year has been, I think it's fair to say, significantly different in terms of how the budget has been communicated with an earlier than previous year's provisional settlement, and obviously a subsequent change to the provisional settlement as a result of the budget agreement. And I think part of the language that perhaps is in this report reflects that change, I suppose, in the way the budget has been dealt with at Welsh Government level, and the cooperation with different parties has actually been reflected. But as Craig said, the final settlement was published today, obviously timely in terms of our committee this afternoon, but certainly in terms of the uplift of 4.7% that we're reporting, we're not expecting any change to that regard.
Right.
But what I can confirm is there has been an additional £100 million announced, but we don't expect it to affect that uplift.
Right. Okay. On page 20, top of the page, you've got a block there. And right, the final figure, revised budget deficit. We still at this stage, we're looking at the 509,000 deficit. That's the current state, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. My other question is in relation, it's on page 23. It's at the bottom of the page, 5.24. Over the past 4 years, the council, along with delivery partners, stakeholders of the local committee, has benefited from funding through the UK Shared Prosperity Fund. And currently there's ongoing uncertainty about future programme delivery. The Council is aware that the SPF will end in March 2026 with the UK Local Growth Programme set to begin in April 26. The issue of a Section 188 notice to trade unions to start a 45-day consultation exercise was approved by full council on the 3rd of December 25. So currently there are ongoing discussions between the local authority, HR and other officers with the trade unions who represent about 120 odd staff, I think, are affected across the board in the local authority. But up until today, I haven't seen anything or any indication as to when the UK government is going to make this announcement, because it's 120 odd staff. There's a lot of staff on SPF, which is going to fit. We don't know at this stage how much money we're going to get from the UK Growth Fund. So that, there's a big question mark at the moment. We've been making representations, I don't know, by the Welsh Local Government Association or directly as to when they're going to make the announcement from the UK government.
Yeah, there is numerous meetings at levels taking place with regards to regional and national meetings on the transition to the Local Growth Fund. We were working with regards to some of the information that we received around obviously the funding envelope is reducing, and as it's been well documented, the shift in the priorities within the local fund from the SPF, which is predominantly a capital-based programme, and we're working through those implications at this moment in time. So that is, the lobbying is taking place. As soon as that is confirmed, obviously we will then be in a final position with regards to taking that forward.
But it seems to me that time is moving on. We're way through January. Surely they are not going to leave this announcement until the last week in March, because I don't think that's fair to any local authority trying to deal with a difficult situation. So the lobbying's ongoing then.
Yeah, involved in those numerous meetings, as I said, officers are involved in that with regards to the direction of travel with the LGF.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions from anybody on this particular draft revenue budget? Councillor Barry?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, it's in relation to page 37, Appendix 5. We talk about cost savings in the educational system. The ALN pressures that are a societal issue, which are growing year on year, are a major sort of issue for us. And I can see that a cost savings related to that. Just a question on the school balances, really, Craig, in terms of they've been reducing for a number of years now. Are we at a position yet where you would consider any of the school balances critical?
Individual schools or as a school community?
Well, individual schools I'm talking about.
There are individual schools are reporting working towards a licence deficit, but those plans have been approved in the main, so we continue to review and challenge those. As the time allow would escalate, then we would obviously look at what is the next course of action. But at this point in time, no actions are deemed required in regards to those particular schools.
All right, lovely. Thank you, Craig. And Chair, just one off the back of your question about SPF, really. It's more a comment, I suppose. It's a great question. And the issue for SPF and the late notification of funding under the new regime is difficult, isn't it? Because it doesn't give the staff who are under threat any certainty, and we we're in danger of losing those staff the longer it goes on, because they're not going to hang about till 11th hour to find out to see if they've got funding. So it's irresponsible really not to be letting us know in plenty of time, because we would lose qualified, experienced staff in the meantime should they decide to go elsewhere, just because of the uncertainty of it all. And I know we've relied on SPF, and perhaps there's a lesson into the future under the new growth fund about how we use that funding, but certainly it's of no solace to those staff who are under threat at the moment, and we can only hope that the government come out with an announcement sooner rather than later. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, in answer to that, it was a comment, but it was a added question to my question. My understanding, Councillor Barry, is that with the discussions that go on with HR and officers, is that we know we're not going to have 120 of these members of staff left on the 31st of March. But my understanding is that some of these are trying to be realigned into the staff, the general staff of the authority, because I think Councillor Barry is quite right. Some of these have been with us a few years, and if they can't see any decision being made, they're not going to leave it until the last week of March. They'll be looking around for other jobs outside the authority, and it's a loss of experience to the authority.
Is it clarification? Is the eligibility of those projects going forward against the LGF, and also within against the reduced funding envelope? That is the simulation going forward.
But surely, if we've got similar posts that has become vacant because somebody's left, and we're looking at these and saying, well, we don't need X amount, there's going to be whatever it is, 2 or 3 left, not fulfilled, not the post won't be filled because we haven't got the money. It seems sensible to me that if we talk about people who've got experience in local government, to try and somehow retain them if they're interested.
Chair, can I come in there?
Yeah.
I think if I've understood you correctly, you're perhaps talking about 2 slightly different things. So
right.
One is a sort of strategic process, which
Yes.
looks to, if we can, align any future funding with the posts we know will be ending for SPF,
Yes.
and obviously get continuation that way. Because what we do know, and I think what we've tried to set out, is our ability to, due to the amount of money and level of posts that are funded to SPF, our ability to bring those into core is severely limited.
Yes, yes.
So there's that overall process where we're looking to obviously see what posts will be able to continue, or be granted funded externally to a different scheme. I think if I've understood correctly, what you're referring to is just a standard process of anyone at risk of redundancy to see if there's any redeployment opportunities, which would be done organisationally,
Yes.
irrespective of the reason for redundancy.
Which I presume, I'm sure you both know, is being looked at by HR, because they are the people who are dealing with this on a constant daily basis, to sort of marry up. And the last thing we need to try and avoid compulsory redundancies, but it looks as if it's inevitable that there will be redundancies.
We're working through that process, but on the recalibration between revenue and capital, the programme going forward is significantly different from what
I know.
the SPF is.
I know. It's a very difficult situation at the moment. Right.
Yep.
Chairman, any other questions before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chair's my hand up.
Yeah.
Yes, following on from the SPF, Chair, we served notice on the unions to have a 45-day consultation. That was the 3rd of December. From my past knowledge, we would have started the consultation on the 4th of December. Now, I'm not sure if it's 45 days of calendar days or working days, but that period may have come to an end by now. And if I remember rightly, the consultation would have been about how to offset any potential redundancies, where can we find money to keep jobs going. It'd be interesting to know what the next part of the process is. Has the 45 days consultation process ended? If it has, what are the next steps? I would assume if the money's not in hand, notice would have to be served on staff. And then if that's the case, then the redeployment policies will kick in as well. So from my point of view, Chair, my interest is, how far down the line are we in this process? So could we understand where we are by the end of March, with particular reference, Chair, to the hub that we have an interest in the town centre, where I think all the staff there are funded SPF and provides a key service. What are the risks for that service, if there are any? So from a scrutiny point of view, Chair, we haven't had any feedback on that particular issue to us separately.
Let's take the one part, because it's pertinent question. 45 days, starting the 4th of December, does that include, Saturdays and Sundays? Is that the 45 days as far as you know?
Chair, I don't think this is a finance matter in the same way. So what I can say to Gary is that the risk to the hub at present is identical to the risk to all SPF projects, and we don't have, as we said, regrettably, a huge amount of information at this time. From an organisational consultation point of view, Chair, I don't know whether Sarah King would have any input as that's her directorate.
Sarah?
Yeah, just to confirm, Chair, the consultation doesn't end until the 28th of January. And as Councillor Williams-Price said, obviously all of the projects are being considered, using, the same criteria. So, yeah, but the consultation doesn't end until the 28th of January, Chair.
Okay. Right. The rest of Gary's question, you don't want to say anything about that, Sarah?
I think, just to say that obviously, people are, lots of different areas of the organisation are working through this at the moment. I don't think it's, appropriate to draw anything to a conclusion at the moment while those discussions are still ongoing, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. Right. Any other further questions? No, I've had no indication. Any comments from anyone? No, no comments. I just want to say that, compared to sort of past years, the local government settlement is not this year, it's not solving, a lot of problems. It's fair to say that it was a better settlement than perhaps we as an individual authority was anticipating. And I know that everybody's been working through this for the last few months. We're still on a journey. We've got the combined scrutiny and governance audit committee due to take place. And then the council meeting where we'll be declaring council tax is on the 23rd of February, Craig. So we are still subject in various areas to further additional information. But the other thing that I'm pleased about as well is that, and the question has been asked by Councillor Barry, is the school's budgets. We are not going to them to ask them to reduce their budgets this year. That's a welcome decision. I welcome it, and I know all the governors of the various schools, and I'm on two of them, welcome that recommendation, that decision. So there is more work to be done, and we've got more meetings to deal with it. So if there's no other comments, I'll take it back to the purpose of the report on page 18, 2.1, that the content of this report be discussed and noted. Can I ask you to approve that recommendation? Again, I'll take virtual hands or hands up as to whether we approve them. Everybody? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone against? No. Thank you for that. We'll now go on to item 6, and that's the up-to-date of the Internet Acceptable Use Policy to include artificial intelligence, AI in short. And there's a report here, pages 41 to 56, and I think it's Ryan is taking this. Ryan James. Over to you, Ryan.
So, yeah, just to check, was it Councillor Anna Williams introducing the report, or do you want me to do that?
Ryan, if you're happy to, yes. I think it's beyond my technical capabilities, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's fine, no problem. Yeah, so this report is in relation to an update to the Internet Acceptable Use Policy, to rename it as the Internet and Artificial Intelligence Policy, and controls around artificial intelligence have been added to the policy. So the Information Governance Forum have delegated powers to update the policy in consultation with the Cabinet member, and a report then, information report being provided to full council. But we thought it prudent to bring the policy through the scrutiny committee for any comments around it. So scrutiny has been asked to undertake a review of the policy, specifically the addition of the AI controls to ensure it is robust, effective and aligned with the Council's priorities. The Council's approach previously to AI was primarily focused within schools, where there's a policy based on Welsh Government guidance and has been agreed by unions and governors. So while this provided a strong foundation, there was limited application of AI governance across the wider council services, and the need for a consistent corporate framework was recognised. So the recommendation of the report then is to provide an opportunity for critical friend review and constructive feedback on the Internet and Artificial Intelligence AI policy. I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, Ryan, thank you. Any questions on this report? Gary first and then Bill afterwards. Gary.
Thank you, Chair. The report very welcome. It's a bit beyond me and mine to understand it. But within the report itself, as with all things, I asked the question is what do we do next? There's a number of items there, the first three specifically, lots of work to be done, but no indication of timescales. So it would always be helpful to know when this is going to be planned, by when, by who, and how is it going to be monitored, how is it going to be reviewed, and any information fed back. Such a report, Chair, I'd like to see timescales in there, if we have got actions to carry out as a result of the report. That's the one question, Chair. Just got another one after that.
Right. Graham, are you able to answer that one?
Yeah, so in relation to that section, Gary, some of that work has started and been completed already. Some of it is in progress, but I'm happy to put an action plan together with target dates and share that with the committee then, if that's okay.
Yes, that's acceptable.
Yeah. Thank you, Ryan.
And you got some more questions, Gary?
Only one, Chair, the report itself, because coming back in my old days now when the original policy was introduced. There's a strong emphasis there about the usage and wrongful usage, etc. There's a big section within the report. Out of interest, Chair, I'm not asking for the information today, it may take time to put it together, but since the policy was introduced, how many breaches have there been which have resulted in disciplinary action, and have any of those disciplinary actions resulted in dismissal? I'm asking that, Chair, because if there aren't many actions, it means people are complying with the policy, which is very good. And obviously, if they're not complying with the policy, how are we taking the appropriate action against the misdemeanors?
Yeah, I will need to pull the exact figures together for you, Gary. There has been disciplinary action taken since the original policy was implemented, but I would need to get the figures for you, and I can share that after the meeting, if that's okay.
Yeah, that would be fine, Ryan. When you've got all the details, you can send that to every one of the members of this scrutiny committee.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
No, it's fine,
Okay.
Chair. Thank you. Yeah, fine.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.
Councillors? Okay, Councillor Smith?
Thank you, Chair. Again, there's a review of the new policy coming in. When are we going to do the next one? Because AI is going to get bigger every year, more information. Not sure if it's true information or false, but how are we going to review it every 4 or 5 years? A certain date like that for us, for people to know, because the way it's up there now is so much information being passed about in it, and it's wrong.
Yeah. So the policy is reviewed every 3 years or sooner if there's a business requirement to do so. But obviously, like you say, there's lots of changes with AI development. If there's opportunities identified for AI implementation within the council, then the policy would be reviewed based on what AI tool is implemented, because they've all got different uses. So it's very much a working document, and this initial update is around mostly the governance and the controls we'll put in place as we look for opportunities to implement AI across service areas.
Thank you much.
Any other questions? Councillor Barry?
Thank you, Chair. In sort of response to Bill's question, really, I think Ryan will agree. As soon as it's written, it's out of date, right? Because it just moves so fast. I think what's missing in this for me is the rationale to why we're bringing in AI. The elephant in the room with AI is how many jobs is it going to replace? It can do whatever you want it to do. It can write reports in minutes rather than hours. It can create websites in minutes rather than days and weeks. It's how far we want to go with AI, and I don't see the rationale behind it. It says, the usual stuff that we need to be careful with it, we need to use it appropriately, but there's no rationale. And perhaps it's a strategic question. There's no place in this report, but I think the prerequisite to any policy is, what is the rationale for AI? It's a strategic question, and I don't see any sign of it in this report.
Yeah, so we're having conversations with service areas at the moment where we're identifying, like say, opportunities to implement AI. But the communication to staff is very much that AI will support staff. It doesn't replace staff. It doesn't replace accountability. It still needs that human interaction and very much human review as well to ensure that the outputs are correct. So in our communications, that's the message we're trying to get across, that it's not to replace people, it's to support people. But yeah, I take your point on the report, and perhaps that can be included in the information report that goes to council, so that rationale is stated there as well.
Absolutely. I think it's important, people are always wondering to what extent. And I think unless you have a rationale behind it and a strategy behind it, then it can be anything from ChatGPT to something that will take complete control of videos, websites, and it can, Ryan, it can do anything. And it's improving all the time. So I think that rationale, ideology for me would say there's a massive use of AI coming in the future to reduce the size of local government. We just need an idea, and the staff need an idea. You hear it all the time, it's going to replace jobs. They have to have a handle on what the strategy is so that we know to what extent AI is going to be used by this administration in this current period, So it's just, I think they go hand in hand, the strategy and the policy, but you have to produce the strategy to frame what the policy is all about and to what extent you're going to be using the policy. And it sits better then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Do you want to add anything to that comment? So, it's part question, part comment.
Yeah, just to say that's noted, and yeah, I'll include that in the information report to council.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you. And I was just going to echo that. This is ensuring that any usage currently is done so in a safe and secure and compliant way. A lot of in practice how we use AI, if we choose to do so as a strategic level, it is likely to be more determined by work ongoing from our transformation programme, Councillor Barry.
Right. Okay. Any other questions from members? I've got a few. On page 47, under the heading objective, second sentence starts. No, sorry, beg your pardon. It's in the first sentence where it refers to employees, school-based corporate staff, members, and third parties. Ryan, I think it would be helpful, having read this policy, instead of putting the word members, if you could put the word councillors,
Okay.
which would, I think be crystal clear. Same paragraph, last sentence, very last one, where it says an AI policy is in existence for schools, which has been. That's a typing error there. Has been twice, so correct. Take that out. And I think when you go to page 51, under paragraph 20, for me, that's an extremely relevant and important paragraph, where it says in the middle of that, it is extremely difficult. Well, I'll read the first part of it. Corporate communication shall manage the NTCBC social network presence as users of social networks should be aware that once anything has been published on the internet, it is extremely difficult to have it removed or to control how it is shared. In my view, from the word once anything has been published, etc., to the end, it is extremely difficult to have removed or to control how it's shared. Should be in thick black type, because that is an undeniable fact. Once it's there on the internet, it's extremely difficult to remove it. So if you're happy to highlight that, Brian.
Yeah, that's fine. And
Okay.
just to add to that as well, Councillor Jones, and we do cover that in the annual training as well. So
Right.
in the internet security e-module, that's covered there to reiterate that message to staff. But yeah, happy to bold that sentence.
Okay. Is there any other points or any clarification or questions from anyone?
Just one more, Chair, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Right, there are many AI tools out there at the moment, and they're growing almost on a daily basis. Are we going to have, through this policy, an approved list of tools? Because some of them making the news more recently are very dodgy AI tools. Will there be an approved list of AI tools, and how will that be monitored?
Yeah, so we've taken a risk-based approach, and there's a block on AI, and then once we complete the assessments on those tools, we then whitelist those to allow access. So yeah, until something's been assessed in terms of its cybersecurity around data protection, because like you say, there's many tools out there, and it would be difficult to kind of open up access to all of them. If personal information is uploaded to those tools, we're not sure where it's going. So until those kind of checks are in place, it's a risk-based approach where it's blocked.
And to have that list disseminated to staff on a regular basis with the amount of AI tools that are being thrown at us these days, that's going to become a major task, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, we could build that, like say, because the policy is a working document, we could build that list of approved AI tools and update that as we implement more across the council then.
Yeah. I think your earlier comment in a review, 3 years, is sort of taking focus now, and it won't be 3 years.
Yeah. The business requirement to update sooner will probably be a lot sooner.
Absolutely. Lovely. Thanks, Ray.
Okay. I don't know other questions. No. Any comments from anyone? Yes, Councillor Smith.
Yeah. I read his report and the review, and I'm frightened of it. I know I'm getting a bit old now, but I am very frightened because I don't know what's going to bring. And the way the information is being fed out to everybody, wrong information. So, Ray, how do we deal with wrong information coming in from members?
Will be wrong comment.
Oh, yeah, it's a common wrong information coming in and wrong information going out. Because I'm so concerned about it. And also where this has come to this committee, scrutiny, do other members know about it? I know there's other in the council minutes, pieces. But should we have some sort of a workshop to tell people what they can do, what they can't do, to highlight it? Because, every day in the paper, somebody's picked up on AI, accusing them of not doing it and doing it wrong. So can we have some sort of workshop to inform everybody? And even the staff got to know everybody is included in, because as somebody just said, whatever comments they make, sin, and it's hard to get out. So can we do something like that, Chair?
I don't think we were anticipating a workshop at this stage, were we, Ryan? We just come in for this policy to be scrutinised by us before it goes to council. Yeah,
that's right. What we can do, so like I said, we're starting workshops with service areas across the council. Right. Once those are completed, maybe provide an update to all councillors about the outcome of those workshops, and then where we've identified potential opportunities, and just around some reassurance potentially as well for the concerns that Councillor Smith raised. Maybe we could provide some reassurance in that update then to address those concerns.
Yeah. And how long will these meetings take? Is it over the next, 6 months or 12 months?
Yes, so they run in all of next week.
All right.
With all service areas, and we're expecting a report then with the opportunities identified towards around the beginning of March.
Okay, well, at this stage, we'll wait for those updates and then come back. We can look at it and take it from there and decide what we want to do. Okay. At this stage, I think that we need to make a. Oh, sorry, Sarah, want to come in?
Yeah, Councillor Barry had his hand up first, Chair.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, just a comment to sort of close for me, really, in terms of Bill's question. I'm sure there's an app for that we can get, Bill. But the world is changing, isn't it? And there are two sides to this equation. We can either sort of step back because it is quite frightening, or we can embrace AI and see what it can do to make the opportunity for this authority become far more effective, efficient, streamlined, because that's the way the world is going. It's the balance between the two, I think, Chair. But we can't step away from AI. It's a reality. The people I deal with, use AI on a daily, regular basis, and the stuff they produce is fantastic. We have to embrace it. We have to monitor it, obviously, but there's no hiding from it. It's coming down the road at a rate of knots, and we need to embrace and get to grips with it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Sarah?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just to pick up on Councillor Smith's point, so you mentioned misinformation, Councillor Smith, and sort of disinformation, and obviously there's malinformation as well. So that's quite a different topic at the moment. Obviously, that is can be heightened by the use of AI, but actually is a real issue for us in terms of communication engagement with residents on social media, etc. And obviously that links into sort of community cohesion issues and things like that. But just to say, obviously across the South East Wales region, we've got a communications group set up specifically to look at misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. So where people are sharing information intentionally, knowing that it's false and things like that. And I know recently, I think the WLGA shared a training course for all members that Democratic Services sent out, again, for you to go along and listen to how we can sort of combat and mitigate against some of that. And I'm sure there'll be more training put on for members that we can share with you in the future. And just coming back, obviously, to the workshops that Ryan was talking about. So that is specifically being developed under the transformation programme. So there is a set of governance structures there. We've, and you as members sort of signed up to that when the report came to council. So we have got a board which is led by cabinet members. We have got a steering group which considers and will consider the outcome of all of these workshops. So I don't think that the next step would be for the workshop outcomes to come back into scrutiny, but it will certainly go back to the Better Tomorrow Governance Board to take some decisions as part of that transformation programme, and then obviously the outcomes of those decisions will come back to you as at full council. So just to say that, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. No one else wants to make a comment? Right. I think we need to we have an interesting discussion, and I think we need to vote on accepting this AI policy. So I put it to you, all those members in favour of the policy, as there's a few amendments there which Ryan's noted. Can you please show virtually or by hand? Right, thank you. That's been agreed unanimously. Right, we go back to the agenda. Item 7, forward work programme. That's on track. So that's again still a work in progress. Item 88, we have no scrutiny referrals. 9, feedback on scrutiny activities. To receive relevant feedback from workshops, task and business groups, and other scrutiny activities. Well, as Sarah has reminded us, we've got a chairs and vice chairs scrutiny committee meeting, and it's on Wednesday afternoon, I think. I've got nothing else on that. Item 10, any other business deemed urgent by the chair? I have none. Can I thank you all very much for your attendance and your involvement this afternoon. Thank you, and declare the meeting closed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
When are you going?
It's a bit warmer in here, Bill.
Oh, you can say
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know whether it is, but I can't see from here. I can't see the virtual app going.
it's late in there, you
If I'm
can't.
being honest,
Yeah.
my eyesight is absolutely horrendous. So whatever the screen, I thought
if I was able
for me.
put my computer down there, I would have been able to see it, but because I had to leave it down near the lead,
Yeah.
but
it shouldn't be for you to see. I mean, whoever's chairing, whichever committee,
Yeah,
should be able to see that screen very
Yeah.
clearly and the hands going up.
yeah.
I couldn't say,
It is a very long table,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.